how much Huel fits into one shaker. Recommended is 2 scoops of these, but for my purpose, I will try 5. Ideally, you also start with water in order to avoid that the powder then sticks to the bottom, but I won't do this. First scoop. Second scoop. Third scoop. In order to have 2000 calories, which then is useful for having the macronutrients and the micronutrients right, especially the macronutrients not so much, you would need 10 a day. And this is the last one. This would be the 5th one for this shaker. Now, you also need water in there. But you cannot only fill the shaker up to here and then close it, but actually, if you screw this on, you can fill it up to the point where you then still have a little bit of room for shaking. The idea is that I would take a shaker like this with me and the second shaker with water, or I would use a tap water or tap water just from anywhere, and this would allow me to then have the Huel on demand basically. Because otherwise, if I take this with me and then I decide I want to eat normal food, then it's shaken. And as soon as it is shaken and not stirred, but also not cooled, it would mean that this would become bad over time. And if I then put it in the fridge and then another time and another time, as it happened before, this would not be very useful because eventually I either have to drink it or not. Now, the idea is that I will keep a shaker like this in my backpack and the second shaker probably with water, or the second shaker also with Huel, and then I would have 2000 calories in total, the recommended dose. I then additionally would eat something, because usually I eat a little more. But for the purpose of this experiment, let's now try to fill in water up to the point, maybe here, where you can still shake the shaker. Instead of stopping the water, I stopped the video. A common mistake I make. Now, this is a little bit still left, and let's see if I can actually shake this. Now, of course, I have to shake through all of the layers, and this might take a little bit of time, because, well, I have to shake until the bottom. Now, let's see what actually already happened. Now it looks like this, and this is not something you can drink right now. But we can also fill water in again. So some of the water seems to have settled in between, not the dust, but in this case the powder. So we can fill in water again up to the point where you can still shake it, as you can kind of see, and then shake it again. I've actually tried Huel about 1.5 years ago, but I decided to not do it any longer. The main reason being, so first of all, I got the flavored ones. I think the flavored ones actually skew my perception of hunger in the long term. And so therefore I can trust hunger only if I have nothing sweetened. Let's take a look again. This looks like something that's kind of curdish from the consistency, like curd, that's what I'm trying to say. So you could kind of drink this already, but there are kind of these pieces in there, which are obviously also not that nice if you have them in your stomach, and then they might not digest properly. So let's try to fill it up again a little bit. Now, obviously, this is not ideal. If you need multiple attempts to shake this thing, and you are in a public bathroom, for example, and then you need a little bit of time and also water again, then this might not be ideal. So maybe 5 scoops is just a little bit too much. So here comes the brilliant idea. Instead of filling 2 shakers with each 5 scoops, I take 1 shaker and fill it up maybe with 10 scoops if I can fit them in here, or maybe even up until here. So now if the 10 scoops fit into this one shaker, then I can have the one shaker, and then the second shaker, which I now cannot unscrew, but I can show it here again. So if this is filled with non-liquid fuel, just the powder, then I can have this full of water already, and then just fill in as much powder as I would like, then close the thing, shake the thing, and then basically eat as much powder as I want. Still with 2 shakers. And I also then can make fuel on demand with these 2 shakers. Now what's also noteworthy, and you might maybe question what happened here with the bottoms, I just spray painted them in order to not run around making ads for fuel all the time. The problem with 2.5 scoops or even 2 scoops for 1 shaker is that you need lots of shakers, or you need the powder with you. So let's say you are at work or somewhere else, and then do you carry the powder around plus 1 shaker and then fill in the powder all the time? The next problem is that the powder, obviously it needs to be in a very good sealed bag. So if you have the very good sealed bag and then you are running around and then there might happen rain, for example, and the not sealed bag is not so sealed, then you have all the powder and all the stuff in your rucksack or your bag, and then it's all over the place. Also in your notebook fans. Now this might not be ideal. Therefore, the idea was that I take a shaker like this, and then I keep the powder in there. And because it's already kind of waterproof, at least to a certain extent, this would then act as a 2 shaker system. Now, the 1 shaker system with 5 scoops did not work, and you can kind of drink it, but you have to shake it a lot, and it's also quite heavy because it's like thicker than water almost in terms of density. One bonus tip: if you have something in a shaker and you want that it lasts for maybe at least the next day until you drink it, then you can also, instead of water, put ice cubes in it and then shake it, and this lowers the temperature, which also lowers biological processes, which then extends the period in which you can possibly drink this.